High in the rugged mountains of Colorado, a silent war is unfolding. The jagged cliffs and narrow trails are no longer just the domain of hikers and wildlife enthusiasts. They've become the battleground between man and a predator that has pushed too far into human territory. A single ferocious invader, with a terrifying bite force strong enough to crush bone, has thrown local communities into chaos. Livestock has vanished, pets torn from yards, and fear now walks alongside the wind. My teammates and I have taken up the challenge, not for sport, but to restore peace to our land. This is more than a hunt. It's a mission. Follow us as we push into the wilderness, determined to protect Colorado from the shadows that stalk its people. Before the first light broke over the ridges, I was already double-checking my gear. The rifle I chose was a .375 HNH, strong enough to stop a charging leopard, yet accurate enough for a clean shot from cover. I paired it with a scope designed for low light, knowing these predators rarely move under the full sun. Every item in my pack had a purpose: scent control spray to mask my presence, a reliable rangefinder, and rugged camouflage that matched the rocky terrain I was about to enter. Hunting a leopard isn't just about marksmanship, it's about being invisible, silent, and prepared for anything. But gear alone doesn't make a hunter. In the weeks before this trip, I pushed myself harder each day, trail running, weight training, and shooting drills at different angles. I studied the terrain, devoured leopard tracking guides, and memorized the subtle signs: claw marks on tree bark, the musky scent near a kill site, the soft pad of a fresh track in the dust. Finally, I met with two local trackers whose knowledge of the land was unmatched. We sat around a map, plotting every trail and watering hole where leopards had been sighted. I wasn't just chasing a trophy, I was preparing for one of the most demanding and dangerous hunts of my life. We built our blind 30 yards away, hidden beneath a curtain of acacia branches and dry brush. Inside that cramped hideout, the hours dragged by like days. Sweat trickled down our necks as the heat settled in, but no one dared move. Every creak of the wooden seat or whisper of fabric was a risk. We knew leopards were ghosts of the bush. One wrong sound and it would vanish before we ever saw it. Our patience was a weapon, just like our rifles. As the shadows lengthened and the wind picked up, every snapped twig or rustle in the grass outside sharpened our focus. We were no longer just hunters, we were prey in the predator's world. Then it happened. A flash of spotted fur glided into the clearing, muscles rippling under a golden coat. The leopard moved with eerie grace, pausing only to sniff the bait before circling. We steadied our rifles, fingers hovering near the trigger but waiting for the perfect angle. The rule was simple: never take a rushed shot. When the cat turned broadside, time seemed to slow. One of us exhaled and squeezed. The shot rang out, echoing through the hills. The leopard leapt, then vanished into the bush. We didn't celebrate. We knew the hardest part had just begun.
Reload, reload, reload.
Reposition right now. On.
Well done, just watch it.
Leopard.
We didn't rush into the brush after the shot. Instead, we waited in tense silence, scanning the tree line for any signs of movement. A wounded leopard is no ordinary threat. It becomes pure danger cloaked in silence. We moved as a unit, rifles up, every footstep calculated. One of our trackers released the dogs, and they took off in zigzag patterns, noses low to the ground. The blood trail was faint but fresh, leading us into thick thorn bush and rocky outcrops. Minutes felt like hours until one dog barked sharply, a signal. There, under the shadow of a fallen tree, lay the leopard. Still and silent. We approached slowly, rifles still raised, and only when we were sure it was over did we lower them.
Those dogs work wonderful.
We gave the animal the respect it deserved. One of our team members, trained in field dressing, carefully began the skinning process, ensuring the hide was intact and well preserved. Meanwhile, I pulled out the GPS tracker and camera. We documented the kill site, took coordinates, and snapped photos for the authorities and for our own records. These weren't just souvenirs. They were part of the legal and conservation protocol we had committed to. We knew every detail mattered, especially in regions where leopard populations are monitored and closely managed.
He's got a sick neck, thick body.
He's licking his.
After the hunt, we sat together around the fire, not to boast, but to reflect. The adrenaline had faded, replaced by quiet respect for what we had just done. We talked about what we did right, what we could improve, and how to make every future hunt safer and more ethical. Someone suggested submitting our data to the local wildlife office. It could help with population tracking and future conservation planning. We agreed. Because in the end, it wasn't just about taking down a leopard. It was about being part of a larger balance, where every hunter plays a role in protecting what wild places remain.
Reload.
The sound of gunfire echoing through the woods is no longer just a sound, it's a clear message from hunters to an audacious invader, the black bear. Once shy animals, black bears have now ventured into human territory, but they've become increasingly frequent crop thieves, with a particular fondness for honey. Farmers have come up with innovative ideas like electric fences and electric carpet traps that don't scare the bears away, but instead infuriate them even more.
Des Lebens.
The other night.
To address
The
this
bears are
escalating
out
tension,
eating.
the government has launched a
The
bear
ones
hunting
you saw were black
competition
and
with the
these ones
aim
were
of
white.
limiting encroachment and never eradicating it. So what weapons have the potential contestants used in the contest? Let's find out.
Give up on it. We were about to head back.
Oh my gosh.
Bear
For this hunt, I confidently chose the Hoyt Carbon RX-7 with a pull force of 70 pounds and a velocity of 342 feet per second, ensuring deep penetration even in thick-skinned animals like black bears. Combined with Easton full middle jacket arrows with fixed broadheads.
Came up here on my first bear hunt ever.
Facing a large and ferocious black bear, we prioritized safety and efficiency. We set up a small tree tent and placed bait at the base of the tree. I chose this location because the black bear had to pass through here to get to my farm. A huge black bear with glossy fur, attracted by the scent of our bait, moved cautiously into our trap. Every heartbeat was like thunder.
Holy crap.
That's the exit.
Look at that.
I saw Brood Bear. I've had a chance to harvest with you guys, so thank you.
Once we seen that,
about another 15 minutes or so.
Dude, I can barely pick his head up. I don't know how to give him the samples.
The bow was silent, stealthy, each shot had to be precise. As I crept along the edge of the clearing, I spotted a huge black bear cautiously approaching, its nose twitching as it sniffed around. The distance between us closed with each step it took, and I waited in silence. When the bear was perfectly in my line of sight, I drew back the bowstring with calm composure and let loose a smooth, silent shot. The arrow hit its mark. Startled, the bear turned and ran, crashing through the underbrush before collapsing under a tall tree only 60 yards away.
So much, Dean. Thank you.
The silence of the forest was broken only by the rustling of leaves as a huge black bear emerged. I watched from my perch, my heart pounding, as the bear approached. It seemed to sense something was wrong every few bites, pausing, raising its head, and surveying its surroundings. Occasionally it would startle and run into the woods, only to return a few minutes later. This was no ordinary bear. It was sharp, alert, and extremely difficult to fool. Realizing that any hesitation would cost me this rare opportunity, I drew my bow in silence. When the bear was only 30 yards away and its pulse was steady, I let loose my arrow. The shot was perfect.
As we partake of the food from this beautiful
I liked the power of a rifle, so I armed myself with the most powerful rifle I had ever used. I was Nolan, a skilled hunter. I donned my gear and climbed a tree, waiting for the bear to come. Before long, a large black bear, attracted by the bait I had strategically placed, moved in, completely unsuspecting. Its glossy black fur glistened as it devoured the bait without a head of caution. Then came the crucial moment. When the bear stepped into perfect range, a sudden shot rang out through the woods. Clean, quick, and humane, the black bear was down in seconds.
But within the hour, it was back, and yeah, gave me a nice shot.
Black bears, with their boundless power and appetite, had repeatedly invaded my land, turning ripe crops into rubble overnight. This time, I entered the dense woods next to my farm, bow in hand, determined to regain control. Behind a dense bush, a huge black figure, sleek and heavy-bodied. I kept as quiet as possible, waiting until it was perfectly within range. Then came the perfect shot, directly to its chest. The bear roared and disappeared into the woods. But I knew no creature could run that far with such a shot. Finally, under an oak tree, I found it, silent, motionless.
Ultimate bow hunter's roller coaster. Nice bear.
Have to thank my team, Britt.
I climbed a windy hill, choosing a spot with a clear view of the dense forest across the valley, a place known for its elusive black bears. Unlike my other hunts, I took a different approach this time. No bait, no traps, just patience and precision. At about 400 yards, the figure appeared, broad shoulders, glossy black fur, unmistakable power in every step. I knew this was my moment. Slowly, I raised my rifle, aligned my sights with its vitals, and pulled the trigger. A sharp crack echoed through the hills, and instantly, the bear fell without a sound.
Can't complain with that for your first bear, bud.
Deep in a forest surrounded by low hills, my support group and I ventured into unfamiliar terrain. In such isolated areas, black bears dominate the ecosystem, and any wrong move could turn hunter into prey. Hours passed under the watchful silence of the trees until finally, we spotted an adult black bear, its massive body moving stealthily through the undergrowth. Without hesitation, I took aim with precision honed over countless hunts. The sound of a gunshot shattered the silence, and the bear, startled, darted deep into the forest. Just 80 yards away, I spotted an unusually large black bear, a clear sign of its strength and dominance in the area, weighing in at over 300 pounds, I estimated. But what surprised me most was not its size, it was its audacity. As I slowly approached, expecting it to retreat, the bear turned and charged straight at me without hesitation. My instincts kicked in. With my rifle in hand, I fired 2 quick, decisive shots. The bear growled fiercely and disappeared into the dense forest. Heart-pounding, I cautiously followed the trail. Just 60 yards into the woods, I found it lying motionless under the trees. The moment was a chilling reminder. Here, the hunter must be ready for his prey to strike back.
This bear.
Shoot him again. Shoot him again.
Dang right, nice buddy.
To me, like that bear at home, just from what I'm seeing, was.
Where'd you learn, Daddy?
But I would be lying.
What an exciting morning. You know, we still have a few days left. Like the spring coast back home where they've got all that nice